Hashtag AITA for exposing my sister at her own wedding. I found the messages 4 days before my sister's wedding, and I still married her off before I said a single word. I need you to understand something before I tell you what happened at that reception. I'm not a jealous sister. I'm not the villain in this story. Even though half my family thinks I am now, I couldn't let her walk into a marriage built on a lie that big. Not without giving her one last chance to fix it herself. She didn't take it. So let me back up. My sister, I'll call her Dana, is 2 years older than me. Growing up, she was the golden one, valedictorian, first to get married, first to buy a house. I was always the other one, the quiet one. I loved her anyway, genuinely. When she got engaged to Marcus, I cried real tears. I threw her bridal shower myself. I picked out a dress that cost more than my rent. Marcus is a good guy, steady job, kind to our parents, the type who remembers your coffee order. He proposed on a beach at sunset with both our families flown out. It looked like a movie. Everyone said Dana had won at life. Then, 4 days before the wedding, I was borrowing her laptop to print my toast because my printer was broken. Her email was already open. I wasn't snooping. I want to be clear about that. I typed toast.docx into the search bar, and the autocomplete pulled up something else first. A draft email, unsent, time-stamped 2 weeks earlier. The subject line was 4 words. I can't do this. It wasn't addressed to Marcus. If you're new here, this channel does one story like this every week. Subscribe before the twist. You don't want to come back for part 2. The email was to someone named Tyler. I didn't know a Tyler. I read 4 sentences before I made myself stop because my hands were shaking and I didn't want to be the person who finishes reading her sister's secrets off a stolen screen. But I'd already read enough. Dana had been seeing someone, an ex from college, on and off for the entire engagement. The draft wasn't a confession of guilt. It was a plan. She wrote that she loved Marcus enough, that the wedding was already paid for, that some people just marry the safe one and keep the real one on the side. It happens all the time. I closed the laptop. I sat on her bed for 20 minutes without moving. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I didn't confront her that night. I told myself I needed proof, real proof, not a half-read draft I could be misunderstanding. So I waited. I watched. 2 days later, I saw her phone light up on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. A text from a number saved as Design Consult which should have been a florist. It said, last chance before Saturday. Tell me to stop and I will. I picked up her phone. I typed nothing. I just stood there holding it when she walked out of the bathroom and saw my face. She didn't ask what was wrong. She grabbed the phone out of my hand, looked at the screen, and said one sentence I will never forget. You don't understand what it's like to actually be loved by 2 people at once. I gave her an out. I told her, straight to her face, that she had until the wedding to call it off herself, quietly, privately, in whatever way she wanted. And I would never say a word to anyone. Our parents, Marcus, no one. I told her I loved her, and I didn't want to be the reason her life exploded. She looked at me and said she'd handle it. I believed her, because I wanted to. Saturday came. The wedding happened exactly as planned. She said her vows without a flicker of hesitation. I stood behind her in a bridesmaid dress, holding flowers, watching a man who loved her completely have no idea what I knew. It was during the toasts. I wasn't even supposed to speak. My sister's maid of honor was giving the main toast, but when the MC asked if anyone else wanted to say a few words before I even decided to, I was standing up with a microphone in my hand. I didn't scream. I didn't say Tyler's name. I looked at my sister and I said, I hope you decide, for real this time, what kind of marriage you actually want to be in. Because I don't think you've decided yet, and everyone in this room deserves to know that before tonight ends, including you. The room went silent in a way I've never experienced before or since. Dana's face went white. Marcus looked at her, not me, and Dana, in front of 200 people, started crying and left the reception. She didn't come back for 40 minutes. When she finally did, she wasn't alone. She was holding Marcus's hand, and her makeup was destroyed, and she walked straight up to the microphone I'd put down 20 minutes earlier. What she said next is the reason half my family isn't speaking to me right now, and the reason the other half says I saved her life. She told the room the truth, all of it, that there had been someone else, that she'd almost gone through with a marriage while still tangled up in something she hadn't ended, that her own sister had given her a way out privately, and she'd been too much of a coward to take it, until I forced her hand in the worst possible way in front of everyone she loved. Then she looked at Marcus and asked if he still wanted to be married to her, knowing everything now. He said he needed time. They didn't get divorced that night. They also didn't leave for a honeymoon. Last I heard, they're in counseling, trying to figure out if what's left is real. Dana hasn't spoken to me since. Not one word in 3 weeks. My parents are split down the middle. Half think I should have stayed silent and let her live with her own choice. Half think I did the only decent thing, for Marcus, for the truth, for my sister whether she wanted it or not. So, AITA for humiliating my sister at her own wedding, or was silence the version of me that would have actually been the villain? I still don't fully know. I just know I couldn't watch her sign her name to a lie and say nothing. Comment your verdict below, AITA or NTA, and subscribe, because next week's story is the one where the safe one turns out to be the one with the real secret.